Hey guys. Alright, so I have to apologize right now. Hey, I have to apologize right now because I know that the audio quality isn't so good. I was trying to use my son's headphones, which he uses for Fortnite, but it doesn't seem to be working. I also want to apologize because I know the light back there is probably really bothersome. I can't seem to get rid of it. If I turn it off, then it's just too much light this way. I'm still trying to figure out my video audio setup, but just to let you know, that's what's going on. And I'm try to speak loud because I know that the last time I did this, I had problems hearing it myself on the playback, so which means I know that you're probably having that too. Okay, so here we go, try two. This is about why all your friends and your acquaintances seem to desert you after the funeral or the wake of your loved one's passing. It was just going to be about your spouse passing because that's what I personally know and can speak on. But after talking to a number of fellow mourners, it's apparently this happens to every mourner, whether it's their brother, their sister, their mother, anybody, like well, except for like parakeet and dog. But we're not going to put those up there in the gravity of situations as we are about a human being who's been passed away. So, again, I apologize for the ums. I'm getting used to these lives, and I'm getting better, but slowly but surely. So, I know that if you've lost somebody, sometimes it can be very difficult to get back into normal life. And if you find yourself looking through the pictures of your friends on Facebook or on Instagram, and all you can see is there's these happy, happy lives that are going on, and you feel so upset because you don't have that anymore. Your life has been ripped away from you, and it's just you and what your idea of what life is gone, and you got to figure out where you are going to do. Trust me, I know I've been there, and you've been there because you already feel like you're looking at these pictures on Facebook and Instagram, and you already feel like you're alone. You're on this remote island where no one else is and seeing these pictures of these other worlds, you feel even more remote than before. So it's really frustrating for you knowing that a well wisher that wants to give you well can just pick up and move on with their life, and you can't because your life's changed now, and it doesn't help when they promise to be here in your grief and they're not. Trust me, I do get this. I had a giant circle of supportive friends that came out to help me, and they just faded away after the funeral. Um, I got good news. It's not you, okay? It's really not. It's them. The bad news is, well, maybe it's the good news, just condolences, is that it's very, very, very common, and it's for every experience, for every griever out there, and especially for those who lost their spouses, because you've just lost your touchstone. So you must be asking yourself, well, why don't they check it? How come they're not here for me when they said they would be? And I'm going to be frank here. Death is a very hard thing to look in the face. I mean, you know that. I mean, your natural instinct for anybody is to not want to be around grief or just to get away from it as soon as possible or death as soon as possible. And frankly, if you could get out of jail slash or like grief card, you'd probably love to use it and just get out of it and have it stop. But you're not. It's going to be a process, and you're going to be there for a while. But mortality is the one thing that brings us all together, all humans together, because it's whether you're strangers or friends or everybody, because it's one thing that we're mortal, right? And we're always reminded of that every now and again. It's one of the reasons why people stop to crane their necks around to see what happened at a car accident. They want to see what happened. They're curious, like how did they die? What happened? And kind of subconsciously in the back of their head, they're like, is that me? Am I okay? No, that's not me. It's them. I feel really bad for them. Thank God it's not me. Now let me go continue on where I was going. And they kind of push it away and off they go. It's a little bit the same as that. And I'm not trying to say that people are just there for voyeuristic reasons, or they're cold-hearted. They're not. For the most part, people are genuinely empathetic, and they want to be there with others, and they really want to be there for you. Problem is, they don't really know how. After a death of someone that's beloved to you, when you're reeling with shock and disbelief, they come out to the droves to support you, and it's fantastic, and it's great. And then the funeral happens, or the wake happens, or their celebration of life happens, and they disappear. Why? Where they go? Okay, because in general, people can't deal with pain, especially when it involves losing someone to death. They say that they have no idea what you're going through, and they're right. They don't. Being around someone who's going through that much raw grief is really hard to do, especially that they don't know what to do and they're afraid of catching. And it's really, they don't really know how to deal. And it's not catching. It's just, well, maybe if you're that empathetic, yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? I mean, if you're really upset, or they're really upset, or someone else is really happy and you're really happy, things flow, right? So part of you being grieving, unfortunately, it scares people because they don't want to feel that. And you gotta understand that because you feel that. You don't want to feel this, but you still don't want to be alone. They show up to the funeral and then they go just as quickly as they can, back to their normal lives. You can't. Your life has ended, and you're struggling to figure out what your role is in the new one, let alone what to do next. I've had, for me, I had so many people come out of the woodwork when my husband Mike died, and it was so supportive, and it was unexpected, and it was glorious. But as soon as the wake was done, they was gone. They were gone, and literally. Let me tell you my story so you can understand that I understand where this comes from. Things have changed for me, but not them. So, for Mike's wake, we took a weekend. We went up north to a very good friend of his. She had this huge, big lawn in the backyard. Actually, it's not maybe an acre or so, but which is big in city terms like us. We live in Toronto. We had a bonfire, and he wanted a Viking shrine. Like literally, he wanted to be on a boat. He wanted us to light it all up, push it into the river or the lake or whatever, and dance around and effigy for him, just to be so happy that he had life. And he's a raver and a DJ, and this is how he wanted to go out. His friends celebrating. We couldn't do that, obviously. So what we did was he had this godforsaken, ugly coffee table, which he loved, and we had it in our living room. I couldn't stand it. So we broke it up, and we put it in the bonfire, and we lit that up in effigy. And it was quite appropriate. Um, anyway, that night, everything was very somber. And well into the night, it was somber when people came in. It's somber when we had something to eat. It got even more somber as the night wore on, and we burned the fire, and we just sat around and drank and smoked and talked and about his life. And everybody was upset, like understandably so. I fell asleep in the tent. We all have tents outside. It was cold, and I woke up the next morning, and everybody had gone into this festive mood. Everybody was they were gay and they were happy, and my head was spinning. Okay, because here I was, supported by people who all loved him, who had just grieved with me. A whole week we've been grieving before this wake happened, and all last night we were all very upset. And the next morning, they'd all shaken it off like a coat that didn't fit anymore. And I was still in very early morning, on very early stages of grief, and my head and my heart couldn't talk to each other. They were both not understanding what was going on. My heart was like, "No, what is going on? Where is he? Where is he?" And my head was like, "No, he's dead." And they're trying to understand each other, and that's one of the things I talk about in my own courses with you. But talking about that, leaving that alone for now, there were 4 people that checked in with me that year, a few times over the year, but that was pretty much it. Like I got some like nice Facebooks, how you doing? You know, the kind of check-ins there, but you know how they're not really check-ins. They're not human touches. Besides that, I just didn't have anything. I had me, I had my 2.5-year-old son, and at that point, and that was it. I just had to keep going. And I lost a lot of friends after he died because we really didn't have that much in common anymore, especially his friends. Like the one thing that we had in common mostly was him. And now that he was gone, we didn't really have that much. I mean, we had 1 or 2 of his friends who stuck around, but really we're in 2 different lives now. Like they're going on with theirs, and I didn't really have anything to contribute anymore because I was in a completely different level than them. They're starting a family. I had just lost a major part of my family, and how do you equate to that? Um, anyway, I lost a lot of friends, and not because of anything I did. Okay, nothing against me. It wasn't anything that nothing against me at all. It was because they had no idea how it was to live with grief, and subconsciously they wanted nothing to do with it. Again, understandably, I wanted nothing to do with it. You probably want nothing to do with it. I mean, and really, who was blaming them? Except for the fact that you're probably thinking, so no matter what I've done for others, fuck me when I need them. That's really fucked up. And I gotta tell you, it is. But they're not evil people. Their hearts are in the right place. They just have no idea what to do. I can't emphasize enough, or they don't know how to help. They say, call me if you need me. In reality, you need them all freaking time. You need them to actively volunteer specific things because you need help with everything right now. Or maybe you don't. Like, I don't know, but for the most cases, you're trying to figure things out and you can't vocalize to them what you need because it's everything. Okay? What you can do to help them help you. Okay, unfortunately, you're going to have to be a little proactive here because, and even though you're in your grief, because if you want help, you have to tell them how they can help you. Again, as I keep saying, they have no idea unless you are a widow or a widower or have lost somebody very close to you. You don't know what to do. Okay, so right now, I'm working on a list, which is kind of associated to this, which is the idea of you've heard a lot of things, I'm sure, at the funeral or thereafter, and you will continue to hear things thereafter. These people will tell you, and they want to help, and they mean them all the right way, but it really comes across the wrong. It hurts. Um, one of those common ones is, God needed him, or, and of course you're going to go, yeah, but I need him. His son needs him. His daughter needs him. Why does God trump what I need? Like that's not fair. Or you're young. You can find another one. That's great. That's good to know. But I don't really care about that right now. My beloved has just died. Or what's the me pick another one? Oh, he's in a better place. Or I'm so glad they're not suffering anymore. And all this is like, that's great. That doesn't help. In fact, that makes me feel even worse. So I'm working on this list about what people tend to say, and then what you would probably be much better to hear instead, would be helpful to hear, and then the reasons of why this mindset, like why this change in emphasis or this change in verbiage, and because they're trying to get them on the headspace of us, right, to understand why we need to hear the things we do and why other things you say aren't as good as it could be, and hear how you can fix it. So that's the one thing I'm working on. I actually have about a page and a half right now. It's in draft format. If you would love to hear, I would love to hear your responses on it and your feedback. If you want it, DM me and I will give you a copy of it, stat. You can let me know if there's anything I've forgotten, anything that you'd like me to kind of change the wording. But there's that. Okay, so DM me if you want a copy of that. It's totally free. It's going to be part of my resources once I make it finalized. Um, but I asked this in a group because that's where I got this from, this list of what have you heard, and I got over 200 answers. Okay, I compiled them into a page and a half because some of them were repeats or just different ways of wording things. But it's pretty complete, this list, I think. But again, I'd love to get your input. But if you want a boiled down answer, as I mentioned, friends say they will be here for you, but what you actually need are actions. Words are great, but you don't need words right now. You need actual tangible support. So to talk about that, I'm also working on creating a cheat sheet to help tell your friends about the valuable things that you need from them. Okay? This is a new work in progress, and again, once I get it together, I'd love to get your input. If you want to tell me now after this, I'm going to give you a kind of a sneak peek into what I'm doing. So the how you can tell your friends how to help you. Um, First of all, they can leave you little care packages. One of the things that really helped me when I was going through my first couple months of grief was that my friends got together something called a food train. So they put their names on the list, and every day they would put saying, okay, on Monday, Sandra is going to bake a casserole, for the evening, and Tuesday, Simon is going to do chicken soup or whatever. And so for the next 2 weeks, they had menus coming in, meals from being coming in pre-cooked. Sometimes they're frozen, so I can use them for later. Sometimes they're just ready to eat. That really helped. Food really helped because, especially when you're going through the first couple weeks of grief, sometimes even months, your body rebels, your stomach hurts, you have headaches, and your body probably doesn't even want to eat. You have problems eating, let alone thinking about cooking. And if you have young kids or anybody dependent on you, it's important that they eat, even if you don't want to. So having those care packages really help. It doesn't just have to be food. It could be soaps. It could be a journal that you could write your feelings in. Anything that's essential, any kind of gift card. Anything if you don't know, even just like a card is nice to say, hey, we care. I mean, I kept all of mine. Haven't read any of them since then, but an actual gift card, tangible thing, can very much help. Just to have it in the back burner too. It also tells people that they're thinking about you, and it helps. It really does. It's touching. Um, they should be very specific about how they can help you. If you have a dog, they can say, I'm going to come walk your dog on this day, or I'm going to take your kids away on this day for an hour so you can have a cry, or you can have a bath, or you can just do nothing, like whatever. Do something tangible for them. Like tell them this, and this is going to be part of. I'll give you some more tips and ideas of what you can tell them, but just tangible things. This is what you can do for me at this point, because they're not going to know, but you can. The other thing you can tell them to tell you is to go ahead, ask questions. Like, don't ask me how you're doing, because that's obviously you're not doing so well. Okay, but ask things like, did you eat today? Did you have a shower? Did you watch anything? Was there something today that triggered you? Was there something today that made you feel better? You know, just ask questions. I mean, people, you know this. If you're going through grief, you're trying to make head or tails of things. Your mind's going a million questions. You have no one to talk to anymore. Having someone, a friend of yours, touch in and say, "Hey, like, tell me something," ask you something specific, then you have something you can talk back to, and you feel like you're back in the land of the living a little bit. Okay, this is a big one. Remember the big dates. Okay, so when you are going through grief and you're going to hit these milestones after milestones, these are big dates that it's great for you to have someone there, at least acknowledge the fact that they are big dates and to be there for you. Obvious ones are the year anniversary of their death. Most people will actually touch them with that. Well, not really. Some people will just forget because, again, you know the specific time and date when they died. They won't, and it triggers you more than it triggers them. Maybe they will. I don't know. But there are other big milestones, like Christmas is a huge one that just went through. Again, it's been 6 years for me. It's still really tough for me to get through the day. Uh, Obviously, Valentine's Day is a big thing. Mother's Day, Father's Day, if you have kids. For me, I'm both mother and father, so both those days are poignant for me. Not only little thing, like even things like, let's say your kid's going to kindergarten for the first time, and the husband or wife wasn't there to see it. Having someone touch in and say, "Hey, I acknowledge this day, and I know this is a big day for you because of law. Like I'm here." This is so important. What else can we say? Oh, parallel play. Yes, the idea that you don't even have to do anything. You can just be side by side and working together. Like you go do grocery shopping together. You don't even have to talk. Just be near each other. Go for a walk. Put your kids together. You know, have coffee. Just don't even have to speak. Just do something together. Again, because people miss somebody there with them. Uh, Acknowledge little dates like just just even every day, like a Saturday. Sometimes, let's say you're a husband or wife or the person you love passed away on a Saturday. Maybe Saturday are a big day for you because every week you have to do a Saturday, and every week you have to be reminded of the fact that that's when they died. Um, Little things that are important to you. It's good for you to kind of write those out, send them out, say these are the things that you need to be aware of. Um, Talk about them. Know that it's okay for your friends to talk about things, memories they have of your loved one. Say their name. You know, it's okay. Sometimes people will think, the best way to deal with grief is to push it away and try to fix it. And they're like, no, 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 just talk about them. Talk. It's okay to feel these feelings. It's okay to say their name. It's okay to talk about them. And in fact, you're probably going to want to tell them the same stories that are so poignant to you again and again and again and again. Um, which brings me to my next point, is that tell your friends it's okay to let you be sad. Again, this is not something that's fixable. Grief is not a one-stop fix. This is something that you're going to be going through for a while. I mean, not just the first year or the second year, but this is going to be going on lifelong. Because as much as hard as you loved, you're going to grieve, and that you're going to learn to live with it. And that's something, again, I want to push that's very different from what I do than other people do. Some grief coaches will try to get you through your grief or go through all the different five tasks, which are important and they're real and they're valid. But there's no end point. There's no, okay, at the end of the year milestone, you're done. You're free and clear. You get out of jail. Nuh-uh, you're going to be walking with your grief. You're going to walk through your grief as a journey forever. But I can teach you how this can be a pleasant journey, that can be, or not as painful journey, and you can learn how to work with your grief and acknowledge it until it becomes this companion, this shadow companion that's always there. And this is actually kind of bittersweet because you will always love them. And then the final thing is to let them, it's okay not to know what to do. It's okay to not know what to say. It's okay just to say that, and just to be there and be awkward because you will. Because everybody's grief is different. Everybody's take on it is different, including your friends, including you, including your friend's friends and your friend's daughter and your kids and everybody else. So that's basically it in a very paraphrased way of how you can help your friends understand how they can help you. Again, I'm putting together a list that's just going to be a cheat sheet to say these are the things you want. It's going to give you ideas of what you can tell them, some practical things. If you have anything for yourself that you want to tell me about, to include, please do. This is an inclusive thing. You guys are great. I thank you for being with me for this. I apologize if I'm talking too fast. I apologize if I'm talking too slow. Most of all, I want to apologize because you are going through the worst time of your life right now, especially during COVID, where you're more isolated now than anybody ever has, and you're probably alone, and you're going through all this. And this is again why I want to tell you, you're not alone. Okay, this Facebook is here. Facebook group is here. I'm here. You can DM me if you need to have any questions done. I do offer counseling. Not counseling. I do the counseling and coaching, which is a very big difference. I'm not going to sit you down on the couch and psychoanalyze you. I am going to coach you to get to where you are now and to your next step in life to make you have that, help you find that fulfilling life again after grief. Because I've been there. I know what you're going through. This is not some cold analytical situation. I'm here for you if and when you need it. Okay. I also have my blog, so I was been trying to put out a blog every week. It's been kind of slow over December because I'm rebranding and I'm my website, so be aware of that. But there's always different things I'm doing. There's more courses and other ideas coming up. But in the mean case, I have these lives. I'm going to be doing these lives once a week. Thursday, if you can put in the Facebook group what any questions you have, I will include these sessions and answer your question. You guys are great. I don't know if anybody's, there's no comments, so I don't know if anybody's even here, but I love you guys. You're not alone, okay? I'll see you next time. Take care.